I wanted to share something that I've come across that's very, very important in our work. Our manifested reality is actually inside of a black hole. And what that would mean from the standpoint of our understanding of where we are, what we're doing, and where we're going. So she has a couple of interesting articles on her website. I'm going to leave those for you because you don't have to need the book to read those specific articles on the black holes. And she's got a video, and I'd say the video is really, really good. It's about a 40-minute long video. She speaks in Greek, but there's English subtitles underneath it so you can follow along. And I'm just going to share with you a little bit of it because I want you to already begin thinking with this process, like I'm going to be doing now, thinking about what a black hole is, and does this actually explain our trapped experience? Because the black hole, I mean, I'm not a physics expert, right? So, but what most of us know about a black hole is it's a area of space, the way it's presented, right? Where a dead star is collapsed in on itself. And because of that, the gravitational force gets so strong that everything gets sucked into it, including light. That's why it's called a black hole, because nothing gets out of the black hole. The gravitational force is so strong, it pulls everything into it. It just sucks it in. Now, it can also be thought of as a funnel or a vortex, because the black hole, in order to create that gravitational pull, is spinning. It's moving. It's like a giant tornado. That's another way of describing a black hole. It's like a giant tornado that, I don't know if it moves or doesn't move, right? Like I say, I'm not a physics science expert necessarily. So you've got this, and I've talked about many times, and others have talked about that what this reality is that we're caught in, what Plato's cave is the equivalent of a whirlpool or a vortex. It's something that is just constantly spinning in place and therefore constantly repeating. Everything is it's a giant time loop. It's a constant circuit stuck in the water of what you might call the river of life. And we got stuck in a whirlpool. That's a black hole when you begin to think about it. But the black hole starts to move into a little different element. So I just put a picture up here now. This is what's known as how a black hole is presented scientifically. And you have this area called the event horizon, which is the where as things come in, they move into the event horizon, and then it gets denser and denser and denser as it moves into the depth of the funnel, deeper and deeper and deeper as it gets into the funnel until it reaches this thing called the singularity, or the event singularity. And the event singularity is a very unique idea, because she explains something can happen at the event singularity, which is the creation of what's known as a white hole. And we'll get to that for a second. According to various, and she's not the only one sort of talking about this. If you read some of these articles, right, we've got one of the main researchers at CERN is claiming our universe is just a small piece inside of a black hole. And that's possibly what CERN is doing. CERN is recreating more and more black holes in order to, in a sense, create new universes, new complete universes, or know exactly how the universe is functioning by having its own black hole to study. And of course, by manipulating the other universes, they're manipulating our universe too. But we'll get into more detail on that. That was also done too in the article by a team of astrophysicists at the University of Waterloo in Canada. I went to Wilfrid Laurier, so Waterloo is not really on my to like list, right? And I played hockey there, and so I've had many battles in my day against the University of Waterloo. I think I've still got scars on my body from those battles. But okay, I'll be happy with the physicists who are there, and they also claim that our universe is exists inside the event horizon of a higher dimensional black hole in a much larger universe. And that what we see, and I guess so part of it is then what we see as our supposed universe is again just a minor copy of a much bigger thing. So the black holes that are forming in what we feel are black holes in our universe are of course just minor black holes of the much bigger black hole that we exist in. Okay. What does that mean logically for all of us? Okay, sounds nice, big, and you're saying big deal. So what, right? What we're dealing with is this black hole, according to Anagnostou, is the forbidden tree of knowledge. That the original tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden is the black hole. It's not even matter, right? Because matter will be formed in the black hole. It's the sucking in of everything, including the original immortal spiritual essences that got trapped inside the black hole. And the black hole is the creation of the demiurge. So the demiurge was like an original sun that somehow died or was dying and created the black hole in the form, and this is just me speculating now, right? I'm going to be taking this into the next book at some point, but the demiurge symbolically was dying, and as it was dying, created the black hole in order to create an energy sphere for itself to keep living. So if you start thinking that a black hole is an energy sphere, and that's another key point she makes in the video and in her work, that the black hole is all about energy. That's all it is. So we are in it, and in fact, we are pushed down farther and farther and farther to the base of that black hole. We get pushed deeper and deeper and deeper to denser and denser and denser matter, denser and denser levels of creation, until you hit the bottom of the black hole, the event singularity, where there is the equivalent of a big bang. An explosion happens, and it creates the opposite, which is a white hole. And a white hole is the opposite of a black hole, in which nothing can enter. Everything is being pushed outward. Nothing can enter. And in fact, light is pushed out of it. Literally, white light is pushed out of it. That's why I know it's a white hole. So isn't it very interesting that as we start dealing with the death experience, that we're dealing with entering the white light. And by entering the white light symbolically, she's sort of claiming that the white hole is our she's claiming it that the white hole is a holographic world, it's a holographic reality of the black. The black hole is already a spinning form of illusion in itself, because it's energy, and everything within that is then tricked into creating form and matter and space and time. All the things we know of as illusion in our world are within the black hole. From the Big Bang, you get this white hole, which you would claim is a holographic reality. Now, to me, I think it's interesting that what the white hole might be is the astral realm. So, or the etheric, the astral realms, that's the white hole where the white light is exploding outward. We are in the black hole. We're in a sense the dark, dense vortex of the whole thing. And as we die, or as we leave our body, that consciousness is blasted into the white hole. But they often put them as two plumes, two of those spiraling vortexes, two tornadoes, one on top of the other, as if they're sort of poles with top and bottom. I get the sense they're linked. That's how it happens. The white hole is actually somehow, it's not the way we think of it in our science, that the one we're in, the white hole, connects back to the black hole. So you can't exit the black hole, because you can't get enough force to escape it, because it's energy. And as long as you stay in an energetic form, you can't escape the black hole. You can't go through the white light tunnel, because if you go through the white light tunnel, that's going to be the white light additional holographic universe that's going to trap you in that part, and will cycle you back into the black hole. It's like two funnels that just sort of work together, and like an Ouroboros or a Mobius strip retwist back on themselves. So I see it more like these black and white holes would be like a Mobius strip that intertwine with each other constantly. So she claimed, and I really watched the video, it's really, really interesting. because there's a problem that the black hole that we are in is just energy. And energy is what it is, the entire thing. And energy cannot leave. The energy can only dissolve if the black hole dissolves, is the way I can see it. So energy does not leave. And that's that scientific principle, that idea we try to follow, that energy is never created or lost. It's just reformed, retransmitted, re-put back into the system. As I've talked about, the whole idea of the soul farm, of the eating of the energy, is designed around this idea that it's a constant loop of energy. That's the black hole, the vortex. So no matter what you do with your energy, energy will not escape from it. And positive and negative are just two forms of energy. And what's really interesting is you've got the forces of darkness who are trying to foster negative energy. They're fostering it, though, not as an angle of escape or betterment. They're doing it to try to contain the energy even stronger in this. What's interesting is we have been presented for the last few thousand years that we need to become more positive, more loving, more whatever. But that's an energetic way. And that means from that energetic perspective, you'll have a different experience. Your consciousness will have a different experience in the black hole, in the depths of the black hole that you're having, but it's not going to get you out, because all of that energy is going to keep you trapped within it. Do you see what all of these spiritual things are only about the cave, are only about Plato's cave, are only about your experience in the matrix? That has nothing to do with getting you out. And in fact, a big trap in this place is that the dark forces have set up this idea of you need to be positive, you need to move up the spiritual ladder, you need to improve yourself, you need to. As opposed to, we have an immortal essence, and it's not even the soul. She's even claiming that the soul, what we know of as a soul, is part of the trap. The soul itself is a way that the demiurge trapped us into matter. That what she calls the immortal essence of the person, the spiritual body, that is the thing which is non-energetic. It's the only part of us that has nothing to do with energy. It's something immortal. It's not even a divine spark, because as soon as you say divine spark, as I've written in my last book, which I'm seeing now, that's probably wrong. And the way that's been described by the Gnostics, the divine spark is the creation of this soul. And it's actually another part of the trick, another part of the way we're kept in here. In fact, the very idea of the soul is part of the trap. That the spiritual body, the non-energetic part of ourselves, that is the thing which is not related to the vortex, is not related to the black hole, is not related to the white hole. And that is the thing which can and will leave. She claimed that at one time we were able to go in and out of the black hole as we wished. But in order to get these our immortal essences trapped in here, and I guess create even more energy. I guess that's what the creator, the demiurge, realized, is once it had this black hole and it's just a swirling mass of energy, it needs even more energy to keep it spinning. If for some reason the plug started to get pulled out, it would stop spinning, and if it stopped spinning, it would die off. So she claims that, according to Plato and some Hermetic texts, that what the demiurge did was blended the immortal spirit with energy. And from this creation, by taking what is immortal of us that's non-energetic and blending it with energy, you create the soul. And it's now the soul which is a huge part of that which is blended. Even further, the soul was then locked into a prison of flesh, into a body. So it was going to start having, now is not just going to be in the black hole experiencing, because the black hole is, in a sense, is the void. When people say they go to the void, I mean, like literally, I should be writing a brand new chapter for the book, because this is like, I don't know. That's why I didn't want to wait till May or June to put this in the next one. The black hole is the void. When someone goes to the void, they're not out of the matrix. They're not out of Plato's cave. They're in the black hole itself. They've returned out of the material dense part of it to the upper regions of the black hole, which has no time, no space, no material form, no good or bad, no up or down. It's just, it's, it's all of them at the same time. That's the trick. People think they're in a place where they don't exist. Time and space don't exist. Actually, it's the opposite. All time and space exists. So because all time and all space is existing constantly, it appears like there's nothing there, when in fact it's everything there. That's again another trick of the oneness experience, or the total black of the absolute experience. It's not real absolute. It's not outside of the matrix. It's not outside the cave. It's the black hole. As I'm talking about it, it's like becoming unbelievably clear as to what we're dealing with here. That also means that because we are just now a fragment of the black hole, we're a fragment of the void as an individual form, as an individual soul, having continually rotating experiences like the whole itself. That means that everything is simultaneous. Everything is like the void. It is simultaneous. Therefore, you can't have karma. You can't have past and future. You can't have things that you're doing in this life affecting the next life. You can't have things you're doing yesterday affecting tomorrow, because it's simultaneous. Therefore, there cannot actually, cause and effect can't happen. Or the only way cause and effect can be true is you'd have the opposite, right? Which is what's that called? Where the events create the causes, retrocausality. You would have to have both equally. You can't have one or the other. Either both of those are true or none of those are true. But it blows the idea of karma out of the table when you're dealing with the idea that somehow your reincarnated experiences are based on how good or how nice or bad of a boy or girl you were. No, obviously not. It's all happening simultaneously. That's another one of the tricks. It's another part of the tricks. And it's all a part of this energetic form now locked into prison. The last part of her video doesn't really say much about the exit. She just indicates that it's identifying the spirit within, identifying that which is different from the energy nature, different from the dual nature, different from anything positive or negative. And we have to re-enhance this part of our being, with the idea that we are looking to become perfect, but not here, because nothing in the material world can be perfect. I write about this a lot in my book, of how once something is in matter, so in a black hole, you're no longer in your immortal essence. You're in something else completely. The perfection is outside of the black hole. It's the original. It's the place where we were tricked to coming in here from. So we have to work on preparing the immortal part for the perfection that is already there. And thus, we're not just relinquishing, this is really important, we're not relinquishing the bonds of the material. That's minor. We're relinquishing the bonds of energy. Because, of course, the experience we're having right now, you're sitting wherever you're sitting and you're watching some screen with me talking to you. You're in a room, or you're outside, or you're in a cafe, or I don't know. And we all tricked thinking this is what's going on. And of course, nothing is going on. There's no room here. There's no physical body sitting here. There's no books behind me. There's no flower thing behind me. There's no Thoth statue over here. There's no lamp beside me. This is all just a holographic projection that the holographic thing here is producing through its own system of creation. I'm not creating, in a sense, I'm creating this, but I'm creating this as a perception based on the energetic structure that's here. So it's not the material I have to let go of. I'd say, oh, I'm really addicted or connected to this book, or this book, or oh, this Philip K. Dick book on Man in the High Castle. I can't stop reading it, or so I have to let go of this. I'm addicted to this. No, you're addicted to whatever this is energetically. This is not a real thing. This is an energetic structure in the black hole that has been crystallized in such a way that makes you believe this. Now, this whole video, I'm spinning it totally around, came out of original thought of it came out of another video that Mark over at Forever Conscious Research just did. And I'll put that link below as well. It's a gentleman sharing his near-death experience. I think his name is Kevin. And it's the most wild near-death experience you can imagine. I mean, it's so different. But he describes things like the universal black hole. And that this is interesting because then the white hole or the white light tunnel is, in a sense, would be the white hole. Well, we are still holding to a material body. We're in the black hole. We start dying, and this white light tunnel opens in front of us, which is entering the holographic reality, the second holographic reality from the first holographic reality we're in. And we are entering the white hole. We are entering the white light. We are entering the astral realm, which is a complete holographic projection of something that's already a hologram. It's a hologram of a hologram. So that's why it's so fine tuned. It's so transparent. It's so malleable, so transformable. It's all starting to make sense when I begin to describe it. So he talks about that in this near-death experience. He also talks about meeting souls, various souls while he's traveling. And some of the souls he claimed are robot souls, that they're not human souls, that they're robots. So it's also really interesting because I wrote about this again. It's like I wrote about how these non-player characters that we think we're experiencing in our life are soulless robots. But in his experience, there is a soul for the robot, that there is what you might call a type of essence within the creation that is making them robotic. So, of course, that would mean that this calculator would have a soul. There would be a soul for this calculator. There would be a soul for this notebook. There would be a soul for this cup. There would be a soul for everything. So the fact that even what we think of as robotic creatures have a soul, it would just be a soul designed differently than the soul that we are going through in our lives as a person. Or again, because he differentiated between the two. So I don't think it's like the robot soul can't become certain objects in this reality. It's maybe the robot soul can be a non-player character. Maybe the robot soul can be this. The thing that's in me, my particular soul, might be able to be me. Maybe I can be a tree. Maybe I can be a dog. Maybe I can be, there's certain things that this soul can become that has movement and animation in a certain way that the other souls don't. I don't know. But that was also interesting. And he also talked about how and I've only listened to half of it. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet. How, like, when he was dying, these projections were coming out of him, these shapes, what he called like diamond crystallized shapes, were coming out of him and going into the tunnel first, as if they were being read or if they were being dissected in some way, which could be energy, it could be memories, it could be structures. It's an unbelievable video. So I'm going to leave the link so you can hear it if you want Mark's commentary. I found the original, so the original is also there if you want to see without the commentary. But that's where I started thinking black holes again, remembered Anagnostou, went to her website, bumped into what she had to say that wasn't in the book, and there was all this stuff on black holes. And it's going to start spinning me now in a completely different way of understanding what we might be dealing with here, that the more we understand black holes, the more we understand white holes, we might start explaining physical matter, the looping vortex energetic structure we're in, what the astral realm is, and we might start getting a grip on how we do actually exit the cave fully. So there's my video today. In a week or so, or I'll get up the Dark City thing that I read for you, but this I felt was much more important to share with you today. Let's see where things go. Looking forward to your comments on this one. Go check out the videos for yourself. I think you'll find them extremely interesting. Cheers. Sorry, I just needed to add one more piece to it. And that's coming from this image that I looked in off of YouTube, Wikipedia. And it's giving you some different things of explanations of what singularity is, event horizon, photon sphere. I want you to read relativistic jet. Okay, so relativistic jet, and that's relating to this like plume of light. When a black hole feeds on stars, gas, or dust, the meal produces jets of particles and radiation blasting out from the black hole's poles at near light speed. They can extend for thousands of light years into space. When a black hole feeds on stars, gas, or dust, the meal produces jets of particles and radiation blasting. It's right within the explanation. We have the concept of feeding and meals and churning out of energy, and then there's this blast of particles and radiation called a relativistic jet. And what's interesting about this image that you're looking at right here is we see the colors of what we know as the colors of the rainbow, the 7 colors of manifested light, the 7 colors of the chakras, the 7 colors of whatever you want to call them, as if they are like the exterior holding patterns almost of the black hole. So around the black hole is and being sucked into the black hole is the color, right? Coming out of the black hole into the white hole is the white light, as if it's all these colors and areas have been pulled back into another form. I just wanted to share this because it was so interesting to pop this up here at the end.